that just makes you happy you're in the South. 82,000 are happy to be here at Memorial Stadium, Death Valley, Clemson, South Carolina. ESPN's college football prime time as we get set for a key Atlantic Division battle between the Clemson Tigers and the visiting Seminoles of Florida State. That's just some of the purple in this stadium, but it's a sea of orange tonight. A solid orange night is what they call it, as Clemson knows that if they continue to win, they're going to the ACC championship. Still a lot of football left, though. Welcome, everybody. Brad Nessler with Todd Blackledge. It's simple right now. Clemson, if they continue to win, they'll go to Tampa. They start tonight with Florida State, a team that has struggled on defense. And, Todd, you don't want to be struggling on defense when you got number 28 on the other side.
Well, C.J. Spiller, the senior tailback, I don't want to spit a lot of numbers at you. His head coach, Dabo Sweeney, calls him a program changer. Offensive coordinator Billy Napier says every week our game plan starts with C.J. How to find ways to get him the ball to win the game. And if you're silly enough to kick it to him, you better look out, because he's returned 6 kickoffs in his career for touchdowns, 3 of them this year. The most explosive, all-purpose guy in college football.
Well, for 42 years, they've been congregating in that east end zone. As Frank Howard said back in '67, if you want to give 110%, you can rub the rock and head down through that end zone. If you don't want to, keep your filthy hands off it. I got a feeling everybody is ready to give at least 100%, because Clemson, the first night game tonight in the last 2 years, and they are geared to take on Florida State. It isn't done anywhere any better than that. For Florida State, the last 3 games, they have averaged 42 points a game. And Todd, as this guy goes, so go the Seminoles.
Yeah, he's kind of an old-school throwback guy. Tough, hard-nosed Texan, not afraid to stick his nose in there. Has played through some rib injuries, but he's doing a great job throwing the football. Leads the ACC 300 yards a game.
This has nothing of the power of Frank Howard's rock. This is the ESPN nest stone. If you're not ready for 110% in this telecast, keep your grubby hands off it.
I'm ready. Let's go.
We're ready. We are ready. Florida State and Clemson coming up tonight. You'll see the sensational C.J. Spiller, a Heisman candidate for sure. Christian Ponder leads the Seminoles. Ledge will have his taste of the town. We'll see what he eats. This is going to be a great football game. Stick around.
Text 140 to the number 4ESPN. That's 43776. And Dr. Pepper. Drink it slow. Doctor's orders.
I think they're ready here. We're almost ready, but right now, third member of our team, Aaron Andrews.
Coach, first, what's the update on your quarterback, Christian Ponder, and his bruised ribs?
Imagine he's ready to go. Imagine he's ready to go.
Okay, and Coach, your defense, you said they've given up big plays all year long. So what's the key in stopping maybe one of the biggest playmakers in C.J. Spiller tonight?
Back it up. Back up. Then tell him all week. Back up. So why do you stop that guy?
All right, Coach, thank you. Back it up, Brad.
All right, well, he's going to back up to the goal line because Florida State won the toss and deferred, and so number 28 will receive. And as Todd put it, if you're courageous enough to kick to him, some people might think you're not very intelligent if you kick to him. But sometimes you can't keep it out of his hands, because if you do, you might kick it to somebody else that could break it. Clemson at 5-3. They're 4-1 at home. Their lone loss, a 4-point setback to TCU. Here we go in Death Valley. Line drive, skips off one of his teammates in Spiller from the 3. And CJ gets out to about the 24-yard line. So the Clemson offense will go to work with Kyle Parker, the redshirt freshman from Jacksonville, Florida. And Dabo Swinney in there in the middle, the head coach in his first full season, with some final comments to his offense before they take the field. You really like this kid, Todd.
I do. I'll tell you what, he's got a great arm and a very, very quick release. The only downside for him is he's only about 5'11". But it doesn't seem to affect him seeing over the defense.
He'll start on the shotgun just inside the 25-yard line. Spiller goes for maybe 3. As you check the Clemson starting offense on the top of your screen. Their strength as far as the offensive line is Thomas Austin, the old man, at left guard, and Chris Hairston, the left tackle. They've got their tight end back, Michael Palmer, tonight. That'll be big. Number 86, you see him line up on the right side. He missed last week's game with a concussion. So second down and 7. And it's Spiller again. Dances in the hole, breaks out close to the first down, about a yard shy. Nigel Bradham made the stop defensively for Florida State.
The thing about it in defending C.J. Spiller, you have to be disciplined in your gap assignments, in your pursuit angles. You just can't make mistakes, because if you do, he has the speed to go the distance. And Mickey Andrews, longtime defensive coordinator, knows that as well as anybody.
Mickey, who announced this week this will be his final season running the Florida State defense after 26 years. Play action. Parker, quick throw. Got it out complete. Chad Deal, the fullbacks, got a first down. Pick up of 7.
Yeah, throw the dog a bone. Chad Deal is a physical lead blocker. He's only carried it twice. That's only his second reception of the year. Keep him happy. Keep him blocking for CJ.
Oh, Parker looks over, and the Clemson offense works from its own 41-yard line. 3 wideouts. And again, Spiller flanks Parker in the gun. That's the tight end who I mentioned, Michael Palmer, in motion. Play action to Spiller. Parker throws this one away. Let's take a look at our impact players for Clemson tonight. We talked a lot about C.J. Spiller, but you know what? He's not half as fast as this guy. Jacoby Ford is a jet when he gets his hands on the football. Ricky Sapp, he's a leader defensively with 4 sacks. And on the back end, guy that's leading the ACC in interceptions, DeAndre McDaniel, with 7 picks already this year. And now 2 tight end set for Clemson. Second down at 10. Clemson in all orange. Their coach calls it solid orange. Spiller moves out of the backfield. Parker going to throw it out to him. And run out of bounds at about the 45-yard line. They'll bring up third down and 6. Clemson's had a little trouble on third down this year. 36%.
Yep. And part of that is a young quarterback. I mean, Kyle Parker is very talented, a very gifted young guy, but he's a freshman. And so most of what he's seeing for the first time. And he's kind of grown into the position, and I think has really made huge strides since the loss to Maryland a few weeks ago.
Ash and Ford and Palmer, the receivers, all to the top. And now Jacoby Ford will come in motion. On third down and 6. Parker has time, throws it a little bit high, intended for Jacoby Ford. And it skips off his hands, incomplete. Clemson will have to give it up.
Yeah, they had what they wanted. I mean, Spiller and Ford are who they game plan around. And they put him in motion to kind of identify the defense and see what the matchup would be, and he was open. He had gotten separation from Patrick Robinson, but the throw was too high.
Dawson Zimmerman averages just under 40 yards a kick. Greg Reed, you talk about dangerous guys. The freshman can light things up if you give him room too. He's on the other end awaiting the punt. Oh, close end over end job. Reed's going to have a chance from the 15. Reed through a crease, might be gone. Reverses his field. He actually ran into a group of orange. Had he stayed to this side, I think he probably could have outrun the punter, but he didn't. As it is, a 40-yard punt and a 43-yard return.
That had a lot of bad to it for Clemson. It was almost blocked. It was a low end-over-end kick. And then Reed with a lot of room to make people miss. And you called it. He is a dangerous return man as well.
So Florida State starts in Clemson territory at the 43-yard line. Christian Ponder at the controls. Going to throw on first down. Nope, I guess he won't. He tucks it and runs it, and with bad ribs, that's not exactly what you want to do too many times tonight.
Well, and that's the thing they were worried about with him is running. And that was not a called run for the quarterback, but that's just the competitive nature of Christian Ponder. Didn't like what he saw on the pass play called and tucked it and ran.
He has 2 touchdowns on the ground this year. Those are his passing numbers. He's 3rd in the country in total offense. That's how efficient he has been, both through the air and on the ground. 2nd down and 6. Burt Reed on the move. They'll give it to Jermaine Thomas, and Thomas going to be close to a first down. Dragged down maybe a half-yard shy by Cavell Connor.
This Florida State offense is really playing well over the last 3 or 4 ball games. I mean, they had 555 yards last week against North Carolina State. A little hurry up now.
Short yardage. 3rd and 1. Ponder's going to try to do it himself. I don't know.
No, I don't think he got it.
I don't either. He has stood up when he got to that line. Brandon May, the inside linebacker, one of the first guys that made contact. And it looks short. I think they're going to measure. They will. They'll bring it out.
A little better spot than I thought he did.
Something to ponder.
Yeah.
So they'll bring the chains out.
I know he's a tough kid, and I know that that's the safest play in that kind of a situation. I don't know you want to call many running plays for him tonight. Because if he gets it dinged the wrong way and you end up losing him, then you've really put yourself in a hole.
Those ribs were injured as he did get the first down by the nose of the football. Injured against North Carolina State last week.
I thought they got a great spot here because he didn't reach the ball out. I mean, he is stood up right there, and the ball is still tucked against his rib cage.
There might be where he got it.
Yeah, but I thought he was stopped. Oh, well.
He'll take it. That's for sure. So it's first down, Florida State. Again, the excellent punt return by Greg Reed. The running of Ponder. And Florida State at the Tiger 33-yard line. Play action. Ponder throws, completes. Forward progress down at about the 27 to Rod Owens. Bobby Bowden in his 34th year as the head man of the Seminoles. Kind of an embattled Bobby Bowden, if you want to put it that way, because of the record this year. 4-4, 2-3 in conference play. 386 overall wins. And it seems like every week he's got to answer the question. Either he doesn't have to answer the question about Mickey Andrews anymore. Mickey answered that for everybody this week, that he was going to step down. Bobby, I don't think so. Thomas trying to knock his own blocker out of the way, and he did. Put his head down. Took his wide receiver Rod Owens with him and got the first down.
We mentioned this offense over the last few weeks. The throwing of Christian Ponder, Jimbo Fisher, the offensive coordinator, really mixing it up well. I mean, Jermaine Thomas had a career-high 186 yards last week against North Carolina State. And when they can run well and go with the way Ponder's throwing, they run a lot of screens to the wide receivers. They're a dangerous offense.
You saw Chris Thompson come in because Jermaine Thomas lost his shoe, and Ponder throws on a run complete to the outside. And it's Reed who's run out of bounds by Rashard Hall. And a flag down. Jimbo Fisher, as you saw there, the head coach in waiting. Holding call against Florida State. I think a lot of people wonder with that situation, Ledge, the head coach in waiting, Bobby Bowden, whether or not he's going to be around that much longer, who's going to make the call on who's going to be the next defensive coordinator.
Holding, 79, offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
We asked Bobby about that when we met with him last night, and he said, it's no problem. Jimbo and I'll sit down. We'll get it straightened out. It won't take much time. So that was the answer.
Yeah. Well, Bobby should make the decision because he's still the head coach.
Exactly.
He's going to lean heavily on Jimbo's input and who he likes, and they'll make a decision together.
First down at 20. Thomas back in there. with the shoe retied in an eye backfield. And he gets it, and he's got another solid gain on the ground down to the original line of scrimmage. Chris Chancellor made the stop. Jermaine Thomas coming off a career high last week, 186 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Here he comes again.
Yeah, nice job blocking by the offensive line. You see the right tackle, Zebri Sanders, number 77, getting onto the second level. And that's when your linemen are athletic enough to go to the second level, that's where you pop big runs.
Now they've got it back where they can manage things by getting the 10 yards from the holding call back, second down and 10. Seventh play of the drive, empty backfield for Ponder. He'll throw. No, he won't. He'll be brought down by the Clemson defense for a loss of 1. Brandon May, the middle linebacker. So that'll be 3rd and long.
Well, he wanted to throw, but Cavell Connor was coming on a blitz and nobody picked him up, and he had to tuck the ball and run.
And here's the first big 3rd down of the game. And they'll have to earn it. 3rd down and 11. Three wideouts to the top. Ponder in the gun. Here comes a blitz off the corner. Didn't quite get to him. He lofts it. Incomplete. Penalty markers all over the place. Intended for Rod Owens. Owens was open, but Ponder didn't have a lot of time. Got a tremendous amount of heat from the near side corner, and it's another holding call. Now it's going to be a matter of whether or not they want to decline this penalty. That's the discussion going on with Clemson, giving them their options. Jack Childress, our referee.
Holding, 88 of the offense, 10-yard penalty. There was still 3rd down.
Bo Relaford, the starting tight end. There was a safety blitz. Sadat Chambers is going to come off the edge, and watch Relaford sees it late and just reaches out instinctively and grabs. It wasn't a big penalty in terms of, that obvious, but he just got fooled by the safety blitz.
They give Florida State another chance here, but it's 3rd and 21. Ponder, inside pitch to Burt Reed. Burt Reed, 20, and down to the 17-yard line. So Burt Reed, who scored the winning touchdown last week on a similar play, gets a 15-yard pickup. Now the Florida State's field goal unit will come out. Good-looking play here.
Yeah, it was a nice-looking play. They got that upfield rush that they were looking for. It's kind of like a shovel pass from the opposite side of the formation. They got the tackle pulling and leading. And they set up an easier field goal attempt.
Dustin Hopkins is 11 of 16 this year. This will be a 35-yard field goal attempt. Snap and hold are good, and the kick is as well. So Dustin Hopkins, after the nice punt return by Greg Reed, it's the special teams that puts the first 3 on the board for the Noles.
Well, and see, put it right down the alley.
Okay.
What are you, nuts? He's an 84-year-old man.
Dad, you okay?
You can't always be smooth, but your beer should be. Smooth brewed for that smooth Keystone taste. Keystone Light is always smooth, even when you're not.
Grandpa, I'm so...
Inventors. Invent Help can help.
In 9 plays to get the field goal from Hopkins, who's got it teed up and sent the kick away to C.J. Spiller. Already 6 in his career that he's taken to the barn from the 4. And only out to about the 24 again. Nice coverage again by Florida State. Let's check in with Reese Davis. Reese.
Hello, Brad. Time for a Taco Bell studio update. And the Seminoles cross-state rivals, Florida, pretty much taking the night off against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt doesn't have a conference win. Jeffrey Debs showing that world-class speed. And the Gators are up 10-0 early in the second quarter. It's a game over on ESPN2.
All right, Reese, keep us posted here. It's Clemson
controlling their own destiny. If they win out, they'll win the Atlantic Division and go to Tampa December 5th for the ACC title game. Georgia Tech took a huge step toward that from the Coastal today. If you missed it, they won in overtime in Atlanta over Wake Forest. Here's Jacoby Ford on the end around. Got a good block. And he almost got out of there. The ball comes loose at the end, but it's blown dead at about the 32-yard line. Ledge, we talked about the Florida State defense. This is not what we normally see from Mickey Andrews and the group.
Yeah, I think that's the most frustrating thing. I mean, these numbers are so uncharacteristic for Florida State, for Mickey Andrews' defense. He said to us last night, so you know, we were always used to holding up our end of the deal, and we're just not doing that. We're not been disciplined. We've given up too many big plays. But they get a chance to come out and play again tonight.
Trying to stop this guy. C.J. Spiller got the corner and bumped out of bounds. Patrick Robinson saved a big gainer with that tackle.
I think that's, to me, watching C.J. Spiller on tape is an indication of where he's really gotten better this year. He has become a more physical runner. And I think before, when he shared time with James Davis, everybody thought Davis was the power runner, the inside guy, and Spiller was the flash guy. Only could run on the edge and the perimeter, but he breaks tackles. He's a physical, compact, 185-pound guy, and that's really shown up on tape this year.
First down, Clemson. Parker zips it, completes, and it's going to be another first down, it appears, to Xavier Dye. Xavier Dye, guy that played behind Aaron Kelly, who was so sensational over his Clemson career. Picks up another first down, and again you see Clemson go without the huddle. Dabo Swinney, first full season as Clemson head coach, took over with 6 games to go a year ago when Tommy Bowden stepped down. He's an excitable guy. He doesn't mind talking to you. Nice play fake by Parker. Quick throw, Palmer the tight end. He bulls his way down inside the 40.
The tight ends have really become more of a featured part of this offense with Billy Napier. That's the 35th reception by a tight end this season. That's the most since 1971 for a Clemson offense.
That's amazing.
They throw it to the tight ends, they throw it to Jacoby Ford, and they throw it to C.J. Spiller. And the other wide receivers are just kind of part of the plan. If it happens, they get the ball.
Second down at 5. Here's a toss. Spiller behind his blockers, and nice job by Florida State to close in behind that blocker. Dakota Watson with a stop and a loss of 2 on the play. So far they've bottled up C.J. Spiller pretty well, with the exception of that 14-yard run. There's Billy Napier on the far right. He's the youngest coordinator in football bowl subdivision in the ACC, and then you got Mickey Andrews. Billy is only 30 years old. Mickey's been at Florida State 26 years. He said something to him about that yesterday, and he said it's an honor to coach against a legend like Mickey Andrews. Parker steps up, throws across the middle, Jacoby Ford. Jacoby still on his feet inside the 20. 23-yard pass play. Chico Genije saved it from being any bigger than it was.
Florida State tried to confuse. Look at that. 4 defensive linemen, nobody down in the stands. Nice job by Parker stepping up in the pocket and creating a throwing lane for himself. And then you see the arm strength and the quick release to hit Ford across the middle.
Jamie Harper checks in. There's Ford. He split to the bottom of your screen on first down. And now it's under center. Kyle Parker on first down at the 17-yard line. Nice play fake. Got some pressure, though. The safety valves the tight end, Allen. Allen! Touchdown! So the touchdown is to the tight end after throwing to Palmer, the starter. It's the number 2 guy that rumbles down the sideline, 17 yards for the score. Richard Jackson in for the point after. And he missed it to the right. The snap was a little wide. The holder had a hard time getting it down in a hurry. But Kyle Parker got it to his tight end in a hurry. And the big guy takes it into the end zone to give Clemson its first lead.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Hampton Hotels. At Hampton, we love having you here. And in part by Chevy and their award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers.
What a spectacular night in Clemson, South Carolina. Dwayne Allen, the tight end, a 17-yard touchdown catch. Capped a 76-yard march in 7 plays. With 3:53 remaining first quarter, Clemson out a kick back to the Seminoles. The extra point, remember, was missed, so 6-3. Chris Thompson, a wicked lick at the 20. 20-yard return. Let's take us back to the touchdown.
Well, I want you to see something. Now, this is the intended receiver right here. That's Paul Allen. But the rush coming from the outside by Brandon Jenkins is going to make Kyle Parker throw it sooner than he wanted to. But he doesn't panic. He just knows I got to get away from him and get it out there a little quicker than the play called for. Great poise by Kyle Parker and a really nice call by Billy Napier.
Did a little Clemson two-step back there in the pocket. Now it's Christian Ponder's turn from the 22, and the crowd getting louder by the minute. Pass is complete. Going to be close to a first down to Burt Reed as we check in with Aaron.
Hey, Brad, just want to give you an update on Christian Ponder's bruised rib. He actually suffered the injury last week against NC State. It's in his back on the left side, and what he's wearing is a mold around his body, and then he's got this, protective gear around the ribs. He's used to the gear, but he's not used to this mold. And before the game, before the team even came out on the field, Ponder was out there a good 5 minutes, and he didn't really sit down on the sidelines, Brad. He was back here just throwing to receivers, trying to stay loose.
It's one of those things that'll hurt again tomorrow like crazy if you've ever had bruised or cracked or broken ribs. And both Jimbo Fisher and Bobby Bodden talking with us yesterday, they were more concerned not so much with his general health at this time, but the fact that he didn't practice at all. Well, he did some on Thursday, but really didn't practice much at all this week.
Well, and then talking to Jimbo before the game, the thing that concerns him in the game is he's such a competitor. He worries about him trying to do too much as a runner tonight and taking a direct hit on him.
He is a throwback. He's not afraid to stick his nose in there for a quarterback. That's for sure. Jermaine Thomas broke one tackle, didn't get the second one as Goodman brought him down. We go to Reese.
Brad, Oregon State and Cal, Javid Best just scored a spectacular touchdown that was altogether electrifying and horrifying. Watch how high he goes into the air, and he lands on his back. Now, this happened several minutes ago, and they still have not moved Javid Best. He's being attended to on the field in Berkeley, and it's 14-6 to score. Extra point still has not been attempted. We'll get you up to date on Javid's condition as soon as we can.
Oh, my goodness. All of us here will cross our fingers and say a prayer on that one. A great kid and a great running back. We had a personal foul on Jarvis Jenkins, big defensive tackle. He comes out, and Florida State moves to the 49-yard line. Yeah, he might be more than gone to the sideline.
And he's a valuable part of this Clemson defense in the middle.
They've baked the end around, and Ponder's got a man down the sideline. Pryor. Touchdown. 49 yards on a streak down the sideline by Lonnie Pryor. The official took about 10 seconds to signal touchdown. That's why I waited with it.
Oh, a great effort by Pryor. That was tremendous. And a great call by Jimbo Fisher. I don't think Pryor has a reception this season. And they snuck him out of the backfield from his fullback position.
First of all, they faked the end around, and Ponder turned his back to everybody. And for a second there, Clemson got no rush on him because they didn't think he had the football. So a great play fake by Ponder helped set that up. They're reviewing it, as we thought they might because it was so close, but it looked like Lonnie Pryor got his hand over that pylon with the football. Watch this play fake.
Yep,
on
fake
the end around. That's
fake
perfect.
the reverse, hide the football, and just get those linebackers to bite a little bit. And you can see both the safety Gilchrist and the linebacker Connor were way up by the line of scrimmage, and nobody ran with the fullback.
Talk about splashing on the scene as a receiver for Lonnie Pryor. Come on. And watch this effort again.
He's
airborne at the 5.
Yep. He's inbounds when he took off, didn't step out of bounds, and ball crossed the plane. I think that's a touchdown. It was ruled a touchdown on the field, and so it has to be indisputable evidence to overturn the call. Tremendous effort and a great touchdown.
After further review, the call on the field stands. The ball broke the plane to the goal line. Touchdown.
Lonnie Pryor with a score. And Florida State back in front. We expected offense, and we've had it already here in the first 13 minutes of the ball game. That was a quick 78-yard drive in just 4 plays.
Boy, both touchdowns, really nice play calls and good execution.
The extra point for Florida State is up and good. So the Noles go back in front. 10-6 Florida State, courtesy of Christian Ponder's touchdown pass.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little obsessive. My kids call me the Shredder.
This week, Virginia Tech beat East Carolina the other night. It was NC State and North Carolina both winning today. Miami put it on Virginia, and if you didn't see the Georgia Tech Wake Forest finish, try to take a look at that when you get a chance, as Paul Johnson in overtime went on 4th and 1 and played for the win at home, got the first down, and Josh Nesbitt got the touchdown. And Georgia Tech now is a win at Duke away from representing the ACC from the Coastal Division in the ACC Championship. These guys in orange, if they win out, will represent the Atlantic side December 5th. Kickoff, C.J. Spiller from the 1. Dances around, found a little groove, and then he is stood up and dropped after a 26-yard return. We take you back to the score.
Well, I want you to see something, how important play fake is. This is Pryor. He's going to go out around the end. Now watch these 3 guys, 2 linebackers and a safety. Watch how affected they are by the play fake. You tell a quarterback, hide the football and fake it. Now right there you see those 3 guys are all sucked up by the line of scrimmage, and nobody goes with the fullback. Great job by Christian Ponder making the fakes, selling the run, and hiding the football, and he affected 3 defenders for the touchdown.
Andre Ellington checks in for Clemson for the first time tonight. Redshirt freshman. They fake it to him. They come on the end around to Spiller, and Florida State waiting for him. Nice job by Nigel Bradham. Loss of 3, and Mickey Andrews' defense has done a nice job bottling up C.J. Spiller tonight so far.
The thing about it is you just can't take a play off with him. I mean, those are 50-plus yard touchdowns this season. And up until last week, he'd had one just about every week.
He only played about 5 snaps last week.
He took 5 touches last week. They rested him. You know, he injured his toe in the opening game this year and has kind of played with a hurt toe the entire season.
At the 25, second down at 13 after the loss on that carry. Parker looking right. Bradham's got him, but he throws and got it complete. Got something out of it, at least to Palmer, the tight end. And Parker made something out of nothing because the outside linebacker almost got him.
I like this kid. I like his arm. I like his quick release, but I like his demeanor and his poise. I mean, he doesn't get flustered, and I don't know if that's his baseball background, and you know, he's an excellent baseball player here at Clemson as well, but he just has kind of a coolness about him that I think is it's pretty special.
Third down at 11 for Clemson, trailing by 4 here in the late stages of the first quarter. Parker fires, intercepted.
Coming back the other way is Jamie Robinson. Robinson's got a convoy. Robinson's got a touchdown. Jamie Robinson takes it 52 yards for the score. His third interception of the season. He had one in the end zone last week that helped seal the deal against NC State. Now he's got a touchdown tonight.
No, that wasn't too cool. No. He's going for his tight end Palmer and just really overshot him.
Dustin Hopkins quiets the crowd here with the extra point that makes Florida State a 17-6 leader. Not how they scripted it here on the home field at Clemson. Robinson, part of that secondary, has been picked on a little bit this year.
Well, here's Palmer, and he's going to run to the post. So you want the ball thrown here, but he's going to throw it out here where Robinson gets it instead of his receiver. Watch the post route, and the ball is thrown back behind the intended receiver, and Robinson has a clear shot at it. Clear vision, and the ball hits him right in the stomach.
You see the rest of the defense pick up the blocking for him. And you know that Mickey Andrews is a happy guy right here late in the first quarter. Mickey was also part of the Clemson coaching staff here in the late 70s. That was nice. They made an announcement over the loudspeaker tonight thanking him for his contribution to the success of both these programs.
He's been part of 5 national championship teams as a player and a coach. Played at Alabama.
What's he had 18 first-round draft picks off his defenses?
Yeah, some crazy number like that.
Yeah, something. Well, they've kept C.J. Spiller in check, but at any given moment he can change the entire dynamics of a football game. So keep that in mind, not just on this kick, but every time he touches it. They're going to onside kick it. Nice job to scoop it up by the up man in good field position at the 45-yard line. So it's going to be good field position to start for the Clemson offense. Mickey was a player in Alabama under Bear Bryant. A couple of national championships. 46 All-Americans, 18 first-round picks. Deion Sanders, he always mentions Deion. He said he set the standard for all those guys. And guys like Corey Simon and Ron Simmons and Derek Brooks, and you can keep going down the list. And he's coached them all up over the years, 26 seasons in Tallahassee. And he'll stay in Tallahassee, and I'm sure we'll see him a lot when we're there, but we might not have another coaches meeting with him, and that's going to be sad because it's always a pleasure to be with Nick. Spiller, again, all bottled up. There's about 7 Seminoles all around him.
I think right now Billy Napier might be thinking, okay, we got to maybe throw a little bit on first down. Florida State is guessing run. They're running to load the box at the snap. They're not showing it right away, but they're running safeties up late in the snap count to overcrowd the line of scrimmage and stop Spiller.
And they've dropped him for a loss the last 3 times he's handled it. This is Clemson when they took the lead on the touchdown by the tight end. But right back comes Ponder to Pryor. Then the interception by Jamie Robinson. Florida State's defense came in ranked 101st in the country defensively out of 120 schools. They're playing more like the teams that Mickey has coached in the past. First winner of the Broyles Award as a top assistant coach. Again, if you missed it earlier, announcing this week that this would be his final season. Wants to spend more time with his grandsons and his family. Second down at 12 here. Parker, quick throw, incomplete. We talked with Mickey yesterday, and Aaron asked him why now the decision to retire.
I sacrifice a lot in the job because I can't be involved at home like I need to. Can't be involved in church like I need to. And all of a sudden, it's we've got 2 grandsons that don't have a daddy, and it was more of not what I wanted to do, but as much as what I needed to do, what I had to do.
Mickey's son passed away a couple of years ago, and he wants to spend more time with those grandsons. will coach him up. Parker swarmed under by Dakota Watson.
But so what, Florida State is getting pressure on Kyle Parker tonight. That's been missing in this defense. They have not been a good pressure defense. Only 17 sacks on the year coming in. This is a team that had 39 sacks last year. But so far tonight in the first half, they've been able to get to Kyle Parker and either force him to move in the pocket or knock him on the ground.
And they have their 11th interception of the season, which they returned 52 yards for a touchdown. This guy set them up for their first goal with his punt return of 43 yards. Greg Reed waiting on the other end of Dawson Zimmerman's kick. So Florida State has silenced this huge crowd tonight in Death Valley. This kick will never get to Reed. It's going to take a great bounce, though. Better not wait too long. Almost did. All the way down just inside the 2-yard line. Let's check in with Reese Davis. Reese.
Brad, time for Sports Center right now. First Saturday, November has been a crazy one in college football. Ricky Stanzi of Iowa was injured in the loss to Northwestern. Hawkeyes had the lead at the time, but the Wildcats upset them, knocked them from the ranks of the unbeaten. Kirk Ferentz said he expected Stanzi to miss at least a couple of weeks. Alabama wins the SEC West, beating LSU 24-14. Julio Jones taking the screen past 73 as Alabama wins at 24-15. Sports Center after the game. Stay current, ESPN News.
All right, Reese, thanks. So the SEC championship game is set. Florida against Alabama, December 5 in Atlanta. ACC title still very much up for grabs. Clemson's in the mix, but they've got to keep on winning, and right now they're trailing by 11. In the middle is Thomas, maybe a yard. Again, Clemson, should they win the remainder of their games, they'd win the tiebreaker with Boston College, and they would subsequently win the Atlantic Division of the ACC. Georgia Tech is one game away from being the Coastal champion if they win at Duke next week after an overtime victory over Wake Forest in Atlanta today.
It's a big opportunity right now for this Clemson defense. This defense has played pretty well this year, but they are missing one of their best guys. Daquan Bowers, one of their starting defensive ends, injured his knee against Coastal Carolina. He's out tonight, and he's been one of their real leaders.
Ponder from the shotgun in the end zone. The throw is complete out to about the 9-yard line, but a nice open field tackle on Rod Owens over there by Cresden Butler.
When we talk about Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator for Clemson is Kevin Steele, who worked with Mickey Andrews, was at Florida State in 2005 and 6, was at Alabama the last 2 years with Nick Saban, and he's the first-year coordinator here. There's Daquan.
They could really use his presence tonight. Christian Ponder's 5 for 5. This one he just floats in the air.
Well, he knew he had an offsides penalty. I mean, you look at the offensive line. None of the line has moved for Florida State. Still haven't moved. I've never seen that. You tell those guys to hold their water, and they all held their water and then some.
They held half a Lake Hartwell over here on that one.
Offsides, defense number 94, 5-yard penalty, yardage result, first down.
I've never seen that. That's funny. They must get fined by their coach, Rick Trickett, if they move on a play like that. Watch these offensive linemen. Now, here's the offsides, and Ponder knows he's got a free play. The only guy that moved was the tight end. Those 5 big hogs didn't move anywhere.
Big Eaters stayed in the buffet line right there. First and 10 now. They've got some room to work just inside the 15-yard line. Back to the ground. And another tough run by Jermaine Thomas. Picked up 7.
The thing about this Florida State offense is it's still pretty young. I mean, you've got all underclassmen on your starting offensive line. You've got a junior quarterback in Christian Ponder, a sophomore tailback in Jermaine Thomas. You do have a couple seniors in your wide receiver rotation, but you've got some good young ones that they're really high on. So this is a young offense that gets better and better each time out.
And both Bobby Bowden and Jimbo Fisher said last night, if all these guys come back, we'd be pretty dang good on offense. They're pretty good on offense already. Thomas, nice spin to get the first down, and the ball came out, but one of his linemen's got it. Rodney Hudson with the thrill of a lifetime, scooping up the ball and rumbling for a few extra yards.
It looked like they were trying to rip the ball out instead of make the tackle, and that's why Thomas was able to break the first couple tackles. Watch Jermaine Thomas as he gets hit behind the line of scrimmage, and Malik Goodman is just trying to rip the ball out. Well, then Gilchrist actually does knock it out.
Rodney goes for 8 more yards.
Looked good running it, too, didn't he?
You bet he did. He's going to say, Coach, how about goal line situation? What do you think?
He said, hey, give me a piece of that apple pie.
Another first down, Florida State. Ponder, all kinds of time. Going to throw short on the cross to Owens, and he's dropped right at the 45-yard line as we check in with Aaron.
Brad, we were talking about defensive coordinator Kevin Steele. You know, when he had his defense over on the sidelines after Kyle Parker threw the interception, he sat there most of the time saying, just relax. You guys are so hyped up. Calm down. Looking over at him again on the sidelines. It's the same thing coming out of his mouth. He feels like these guys are just a little juiced up right now. And, Todd, we were on the field right before this game, and these guys were nuts. They were so excited for this game.
Well, the first night game that Clemson's had in 2 years. They've been chopping at the bit all day long. Right now, they're getting it put to them by Florida State. Ball is out. Clemson, I think, has it. They do.
Well, that'll juice them back up and make their defensive coordinator a happy guy.
Rashard Hall has got the ball. Freshman safety. He's made a lot of big plays already this year.
Well, it was Chris Thompson fighting for extra yardage, and the ball got popped out. Looked like the middle linebacker, Brandon May, was the guy that ripped it out. So 2 plays in a row, the ball gets fumbled by Florida State, and this time Clemson gets it.
Rashard Hall wearing number 17 tonight, normally number 31. Clemson, Stanley Hunter, one of their teammates who had continued seizures with epilepsy, is now a student coach. And so every week, one of his teammates honors him by wearing his number 17. So Stanley's feeling pretty good about what Rashard just did with a fumble recovery. Gives it back to the Clemson offense at the 48. Parker, screen pass, Spiller. Made one miss, not the second man. Got down to the 43-yard line, though. Fans in Chicago and Boston, Dallas-Fort Worth, there's a place for you to get the latest on your teams that you care about the most. Log on to ESPNChicago.com, ESPNBoston.com, and ESPNDallas.com for local sports news, radio highlights and updates, and a lot more. Here in Clemson, South Carolina, the Tigers trailing with 10:40 remaining in the second quarter to Bobby Bowden's Seminoles 17-6. Missed extra point. The reason Clemson's got 6 on the board. Here comes a blitz. Parker has time. Deep. Got it. Complete. Xavier Dye. Gone. Second touchdown of the season, his career-long 43 yards to the end zone.
Well, I mentioned Florida State getting some pressure on Kyle Parker, so what does Billy Napier do? He calls a maximum protection play. Keeps both backs in to block. 6 linemen, there's only 2 guys in the pattern, and Dye gets open for the touchdown.
Clemson's going to go for 2. Florida State takes a timeout prior to that 2-point attempt. Dabo Swinney, his team, big play. They needed one. They got it. And Xavier Dye. Todd was talking about it earlier. When you get really past Jacoby Ford and the tight end, there's not a lot to go around. That's only the 9th catch of the year by Dye. Here's how it looks. We mentioned the Atlantic. Now, Clemson's got the tiebreaker over Boston College because they've already beaten the Eagles this year. Florida State trying to hang in there. They'd have to win out and hope that BC loses 2 games. There's the rest of the standings in the Atlantic. In the Coastal now, Georgia Tech, the highest-ranked team in the BCS at number 10. They won today in overtime on a gutsy call by Paul Johnson to score and beat Wake Forest. They lost to Miami, but they've got the lead in the division. So Georgia Tech just needs to win over Duke next week, and they're going to Tampa December 5th.
Well, I like that. I like that series. I mean, it was only 2 plays, but they came out throwing on first down, and then they came back with a maximum protection. They kept the tight end in, they kept both backs in, and they only went 2 guys in the pattern. Try to give Kyle Parker the best protection you can get and let him make a throw down the field, and he did that.
For him, his 11th touchdown toss of the year, and that's a new freshman record for a Clemson quarterback. C.J. Spiller behind him. 2-point conversion attempt for the Tigers. And now Florida State's going to pound the tight end. He lifted from his stance a little bit, or at least looked over to see what the call was. I don't think he was ever in his stance, though.
Prior to the snap, dead ball, back contact, offsides, 98 defense, half the distance to the goal. We're still on the try.
Marcus White, they take it half the distance to the goal as he jumped in there and hit Palmer.
Yeah, I mean, the tight end is allowed to lift up and reset. Obviously, a tackle or a guard's not allowed to do that.
And let's see if that changes the play. We'll probably never know, but they're a lot closer to the goal line now with Spiller behind Parker. See if they try to run it in or give Parker a little option on the edge to do one or the other. It's just straight C.J. Spiller, and he got there. 2-pointers good.
I think it was probably a run-pass option the first time, but because they got a little bit closer, it made the run a little bit more inviting. And why not give it to 28 to make it count?
Xavier Dye with a long touchdown. Spiller, the 2-point conversion, and we're back to a tight game in Death Valley. Who's played wide receiver on a team that won the 1964 national championship. Who was his quarterback? I know that one. Kick. It'll be taken at the 11-yard line by Harley, and he's dropped at about the 21-yard line. Both teams doing a good job on their kick coverage tonight. Beautiful night in Death Valley. 17-14 ball game right now. We welcome you back. Brad Nessler, Todd Blackley, Jaron Andrews down on the field with us. You know, it's kind of ironic we talk so much about C.J. Spiller. The biggest play he made tonight was 1.5 yards for the 2-point conversion.
Well, both quarterbacks are playing well, and we kind of knew this would potentially be a shootout. You got 2 very hot offenses coming into this ball game, and really, between the 2 quarterbacks, only one bad decision by Kyle Parker on the interception that was returned for a touchdown. Christian Ponder hasn't missed a pass yet. 6 for 6, 94 yards and a touch.
He'll touch it here from his center at the 22-yard line. And give it off to Jermaine Thomas, who got popped in the backfield, and he's going to lose a couple. Nice job by the Clemson defense. Let's check in with Reese Davis. Reese?
All right, Brad, UConn and Cincinnati playing at Nippert Stadium. Many seeing that on ABC. And the Huskies on the move. Jordan Todman on 2nd and goal, walking into the end zone to tie the game at 7. Bearcats have answered with a field goal. Remember, UConn, the last team to beat Cincinnati in the regular season. That game on ABC, ESPN 360. Gators up by 13 at the half on ESPN 2.
What that touchdown and 2-point conversion did a couple of minutes ago has frenzied this crowd. You can feel it. Christian Ponder's trying to quiet him. Burt Reed won't get anywhere.
Yeah, it's frenzied the crowd, and it's fired up this Clemson defense. Okay, we go to a lot of places in the SEC, a lot of great venues for college football, but I tell you what, this place doesn't take a back seat to any place. I mean, in terms of atmosphere, stadium, noise, facilities, pretty special place on a Saturday night, I'll tell you.
You can see those defensive players out there. The swagger with a 3rd down and 12 upcoming. We'll let you watch Florida State. You'll know in a minute if they get the first down.
Offsides, another dead play.
And again, the linemen remain in their stances.
You know, that kind of goes back to what Aaron talked about, how hyped this team was. I mean, it's great to play with enthusiasm, but you got to play with poise.
Offside, number 7 of the defense, a 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
And Rick Ricky Sapp was the guy that was doing most of the dancing.
Yeah. I memean, you know, that's great to play with enthusiasm and to have a high motor, but you got to play with poise. I mean, you had him 3rd and 13, and now you give him free 5, and it's 3rd and 8. And a quarterback as good as Christian Ponder, you don't want to do that.
Broken up. Punting time for Florida State. Another flag. Oh boy. Back-to-back huge penalties. And that one will be good enough for a first down.
Pass interference, number 2 of the defense. Penalty places the ball at the spot of the foul. First down.
DeAndre McDaniel leads the ACC in interceptions. He is called for the penalty.
He got a little pressure on Ponder. He had to kind of throw it backing up. He wasn't the guy in coverage. That was Cresden Butler who was in coverage.
Florida State takes a timeout. They've got a first down and a 3-point lead when we come back.
It's tough out here.
ESPN's happiest place to be this holiday season. Lowe's, let's build something together.
Big wins on the road get you a headstone over by the practice field here at Clemson. That previous play, the pass interference, all due respect to DeAndre McDaniel, he wasn't anywhere near the football. So the penalty wasn't on him, though that's the number that was called. Here's a little swing pass to Burt Reed. Reed down the sideline in the open field. And Burt Reed might take it. Going to be bottled up as he got to the 21-yard line. But a huge play. Pick up a 43.
A nice job of Florida State capitalizing on the call. I mean, the interference. Clemson, I think, still kind of shaking their head, frustrated by the interference call, and they weren't ready for the next play. And a well-designed screen pass. And this is a big part of the Florida State offense. You see Hudson, the All-American guard, out in front. And Burt Reed doing a nice job using vision and running after the catch.
Just outside the 20-yard line. Both Pryor and Thomas in the backfield. Now the umpire is going to stop play. Apparently they're reviewing the previous play.
Right here.
And I'm not sure why, unless it was the spot at the end. Apparently because he was close to the sideline. Maybe that's what they're looking at, whether or not he stepped out of bounds. There's the screen pass, and Reed with his guard out in front of him.
Yep.
I don't think he got anywhere near the sideline.
Well, the other thing you see on that play is we talked about the absence of Daquan Bowers, and Andre Branch, number 40, was in on that play, and he was too busy rushing up the field, didn't read the screen and get off the block to make a play on Reed. That's what they're looking to see if he was on the sideline. I think he was clearly in bounds.
Bird doesn't have very big feet.
No.
The play was under further review to ensure that the ball carrier stayed in bounds. The call on the field is confirmed. It is a first down. He stayed in bounds. First down.
Take you back about 3 plays on the penalty.
Yeah, well, first of all, here's DeAndre McDaniel. All right, so he's rushing, so the interference couldn't have been on him. The only guy was this guy, Cresden Butler, who was guarding the in route, and I thought he made a pretty nice play on the ball. He times it, he jumps in front of it, the ball's a little bit high and behind the receiver, and they got pass interference on that call.
Uses his front hand. Looked like a good play, so we're baffled a little bit by that one. Here's Ponder under pressure. And it's intercepted by Clemson. Cody Sensabaugh with a pickoff. So now each quarterback's made one mistake.
Well, Ricky Sapp had an offsides penalty earlier in this drive. This time he's going to get pressure on the quarterback. Watch number 7 get into the body. The middle linebacker, Brandon May, also there, forces the early throw and the high throw, and it's intercepted by Sensabaugh.
Big play by the Clemson defense. And now the offense takes over at the 21-yard line. Ponder, that's only his 4th interception of the season. Spiller was going to tiptoe out, and he actually lost a yard on that one, too.
You mentioned the 4 interceptions for Ponder. He threw 2 of them last week against North Carolina State. Neither one was really his fault because both balls were tipped last week at the line of scrimmage. This one was not tipped, but the pressure from Sapp and Brandon May forced a bad throw.
And you got to know that shot he took when he let go didn't feel good on those ribs. 7:23 and the clock running in the second quarter. He rides the handoff to Spiller, and he's going to be bottled up. And is that about 5 plays in a row where they've dropped him for a loss?
Well, Kevin McNeil, what a great play by him. I mean, he almost tackled both the quarterback and Spiller and took the ball from him. Watch McNeil in the backfield. I mean, he almost tackles both of them, totally disrupts the play, and then Smith is there to finish him off.
McNeil leads the ACC in fumble recoveries. But look at that. C.J. Spiller held totally in check so far tonight. Back at the 17-yard line now as Parker comes up firing. Little slip screen. Jacoby Ford heading to the sideline. Got the first. Out of bounds at the 35-yard line. And there you see some of the speed, even though he wasn't really in the open field.
Well, you know, it's funny because, you know, the movie Dumb and Dumber. Well, with this team, it's fast and faster because CJ's got great speed. This guy has world-class speed. So he gets his hands on the football, and, you know, he just can outrun just about anybody. He's really made himself a better receiver, too. When he came here, he was always a fast guy and loved football, but he wasn't a polished receiver, and he has gotten much better as a wide receiver.
Now his roommate Spiller cuts outside. Goodbye, Spiller. No, going to be knocked out of bounds. Nice speed by Florida State's defense.
Well, that's the thing about it with him. I mean, you can show those graphics, 8 carries and 5 of them for no yardage, but it only takes 1. And if you let down at all or give him a crease, I mean, it's a big play. And he shows great patience in there, waiting, gets a nice block from Dwayne Allen, his tight end, and then the speed to get to the outside. Fast and faster.
They just did it backwards on you.
Yeah.
Here's Ellington. They like him, too. They think if you squint hard enough, you almost see a little C.J. Spiller and Andre Ellington. Well, a little bit earlier in this quarter, we asked you this trivia question for tonight. Mickey Andrews played wide receiver on a team that won the '64 national championship. It was at Alabama. Who was his quarterback? That should have given you the clue you needed. Joe Willie, Mammoth. It's good company. Well, Mickey's defense a little bit on its heels after that Spiller run of 45 yards, and it's got them in the red zone. Clemson trying to take the lead. They trail by 3 with 5:10 remaining in the quarter. Parker in a lot of trouble. Got rid of it quickly, though, to Ford. And Jacoby gets knocked out of bounds. On the far side, everybody over there looking for a flag.
Tell you what, Jacoby did a lot of running on that play. He came in motion, he went back, he came in motion again, then he ran out the backside and caught the pass. It's a lot of work for number 6. Fake to the tailback, and then the quick outlet release to Ford. Watson with the hit out of bounds, and probably okay that there's no call there.
Yeah, it's just a little shove. Wouldn't have been so good if that brick wall would have been closer.
Right. Big game for both Spiller and Ford. 2 of 16 Floridians on this Clemson team.
3rd down and 6. Here they come. Florida State with a blitz. Parker got it, and it's Dye again to the 1.
Boy, nice job by Kyle Parker, just going where the defense read takes him with the football. Not getting locked into saying, I've got to throw to Palmer, I've got to throw to Jacoby Ford. If Xavier dies the guy open, that's where I'm going with the football. Shallow cross against the blitz. He sees it. One missed tackle and a first down for Clemson.
And now a first and goal. And timeouts.
We have a timeout, Clemson. That's their first timeout of the half.
With 4:46 remaining, they'll come over to the sideline en masse and meet with Coach Sweeney, talk it over. Kyle Parker hit his last 5 passes, Todd, to get him down there. As you said, he's mixing it up, kind of like Christian Ponder's doing it for Florida State.
Well, he did a really nice job on that play because there was an unblocked man coming on the blitz. He knew it. He just backpedaled a little bit and was able to get enough on the throw because of that arm strength and quick release to get the completion. That's not an easy throw to make under duress.
Well, only 3 races remaining in the race for the Cup. Jimmy Johnson's got a lead in his quest for an unprecedented 4th straight championship this week. Heading to Texas. Dixie's 500 at Texas. Sunday at 2:30 Eastern on ABC. Coverage begins with NASCAR Countdown. For the Clemson faithful, because they've got a first and goal at the 1-yard line. C.J. Spiller's going to strap up both sides of that chin strap, and he's going to have 3 tight ends and a fullback in front of him. The fullback, Chad Deal, right in front of him in an I backfield. Clemson trying to take the lead. And whistle, stop play again. Got a flag down on the end zone.
We have a legal substitution. There are 12 players in formation, more than 3 seconds on the defense. Half the distance to the goal. It remains first down.
Well, earlier we had a 1.5-yard penalty and a 2-point conversion. That one's about a 6-inch penalty. Same formation. First and goal, Tigers. From Skycam, behind C.J. Spiller. He gets a call, and he won't get the touchdown. Nice job defensively again by Florida State. Another penalty marker.
We're going to get another 2-inch penalty because that was another offsides for Florida State. Trying to anticipate the snap count on the edge.
Offside, number 90 of the defense, half the distance to the goal line. It remains first down.
Moses McCray that time. Pretty soon, I'm not so sure I don't change the play and just let my quarterback kind of burrow in there, because it's awfully close now. The football is almost touching the goal line. There you see it with Dalton Freeman, the center, over it. And now Clemson jumps.
Oh, boy.
False start. Now it's going to be first and goal back at the 5 and change.
Start. 74 the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, we thought Florida State was making it hard on their defense. Clemson just made it a lot harder on their offense.
Yeah, the problem with this is it's a full 5-yard penalty. Those defensive ones, when you're inside the 5, they just go half the distance. This one goes the full 5 yards back.
Take all those tight ends out, put in the wide receivers. A whole different story. First and goal now for the Tigers at the Seminole 5. Trailing by 3 here with 4:15 remaining in the second quarter.
Play clock at 2.
He just got the snap. Parker in trouble. Hit as he's trying to throw. Or is it a fumble?
It could have been a fumble. I don't know what they've called it yet. I didn't see any sign of an incomplete pass yet. They're conferring about it right now.
Florida State football.
If you call it a fumble, you can review it and could possibly change it. But it's called a fumble on the field. Parker, a little flustered. I think that is a fumble. I don't think he was trying to throw. He didn't feel the pressure coming from behind from Marcus White.
Todd, you've been in that situation a bunch. The arm's got to be going forward. I don't think he ever got a chance, did he?
I don't think so. And again, it has to be indisputable evidence to overturn the call on the field, which was that it was a fumble recovered by Florida State. But that play was bad from the beginning. The play clock was down. Right. They were looking to the sideline. They didn't look like they were all on the same page. And then Parker looked flustered when he got the football.
You talk about bad from the beginning. They had it at the 4-inch line. And they had a false start penalty, and that's what set them back in a completely different formation with wide receivers instead of tight ends.
And you're thinking right there, worst case scenario, we tie the game with a field goal. You know, we don't score a touchdown. Worst case scenario, we kick a field goal and we're 17-17 at halftime. It just got even worse. I mean, you don't even anticipate this happening. They get the 5-yard penalty and now a fumble.
There's a fumble.
The crowd doesn't like it, but I think it's the right call. And so a big play by the Florida State defense. You talk about penalties killing you. That just killed, as Todd said, at least 3, and you're tied. Now, Florida State's got a timeout and 4 minutes to work with, and they've got the most efficient quarterback for the most part in the ACC. It's not out of the question they might not do something scoring-wise. Thomas cuts outside. Jermaine Thomas, another good gain, all the way to the 17. All kinds of time for the Noles right now, leading by 3.
Well, the last time Clemson's defense had Florida State backed up like this, they couldn't stop them. They let them get all the way out to midfield, and then they got the turnover, but they weren't able to keep them pinned down. And here again, the first play from deep in their own territory, a first down for Florida State.
Remember, one of those turnovers by Clemson was a 52-yard touchdown return for a score off a Parker misfire. Now this time on a fumble, he's given Florida State another chance here. Jermaine Thomas, this time bottle up's going to lose a yard as we check in with Reese.
Brad, as the flags fly in your game, UConn and Cincinnati. 10-7, Bearcats with the lead. Zach Calera is still in for Tony Pike. You know, Tony's a great player. He's going to have a hard time getting 12 out of the lineup. Calera's is 10 for 12 passing. He's run for a touchdown. It's 17-10 Bearcats.
Cincinnati trying to stay in the unbeaten category. Iowa fell out of that elite group today. Upset by Northwestern. Here, 2 teams fighting for their life in the Atlantic Division of the Atlantic Coast Conference in the final month of the season. Ponder lofts one. That's intercepted by Maxwell. And Maxwell cut down at the 24. I don't know where he was going with that one.
Boy, I don't either.
Neither does Bobby Bowden.
Well, you had 2 receivers that were confused and were in the exact same area. And obviously, Christian Ponder thought one was turning up the sideline, but in any case, he doesn't just let this ball go. He thinks one's going up the sideline, and both Fortson and Easterling were standing in the same spot. And a gift for the Clemson defense.
And the offense at the 24-yard line, so they can turn right back around and use this last 2.5 minutes to get back where they were moments ago. Parker wants to throw a screen, and that's kind of blown up by Florida State's defense.
I tell you what, this has to be as good as Florida State's defense has played, with the exception of maybe that BYU game when they went out to Provo and created a bunch of turnovers and blew out the Cougars. They've had their struggles on defense. They gave up a lot of yards, a lot of points to North Carolina State last week.
Spiller again bottled up and dropped for a loss. One more time by Kevin McNeil, who's having a heck of a game at defensive end for Florida State. 6th time C.J. Spiller's been dropped for a loss. But Florida State's offense, 3 straight possessions with a turnover, has given Clemson this opportunity with a little over 2 minutes to go in the half. So 4 interceptions by Christian Ponder in the last 2 weeks. 3rd down here. And long. 3rd and 12. There's the slip screen to Ford's going to cut it back outside, but there's too many Seminoles defensively there. They knock it out of bounds.
That was good defense by Florida State. They played zone. They wanted to keep everything in front of them. And they know that Ford has great speed, but if they keep their angles and keep their leverage and keep him in front, they'll stop him short of the first down. Watch him just hem him in, use the sideline as an aid, and then knock him out of bounds.
Richard Jackson, 17 out of 23 on the season. This will be a 38-yard field goal attempt to try to knock this game up late in the second quarter. Kick out of the way, and it is no good. A missed extra point and now a missed field goal that's very makeable. Talk about blown opportunities. A happy defensive coordinator on the other sideline, though. Florida State stays in front. Todd started all that taste of the town stuff right here in Clemson. That looks good.
Restaurant and sushi bar. Now, it was opened in 2002 by a couple local products, brothers Tim and Sean Chastain. The reason it's so quiet now, it doesn't actually open for an hour. But I've got a meeting with Bobby Bowden to go to, so the guys were kind enough to let me come in a little bit early to do my thing. Now, the menu at Blue Heron is very extensive, but what I zeroed in on are the fried green tomatoes and the pan-fried grouper that's prepared Oscar style with grilled asparagus, lump crab meat, and hollandaise sauce, and it's served over fire-roasted corn and sun-dried tomato risotto. Afternoon delight.
Nothing like having your own restaurant that opens up. Yeah. Nobody's even there except you.
I tell you what, that place is a great place.
Oh, yeah.
We went there the night before, and it got hopping later on that night. Night before a game. I mean, they were kind enough to let me come in there, but yeah, that was a nice healthy meal too.
I was going to say the fried green tomatoes. I had those, and I had a fillet that was unbelievable. There's a crowd, but you did go healthy, kind of like all day.
Yeah,
which is pretty good because what you probably would like to do is go to back to Max's where you started all this and have something really greasy.
Well,
that'd be good.
That was a fun place too. Going to Max. You know, the rumor was there you can't graduate from Clemson unless you eat a cheeseburger at Max.
That's right.
So I did that, but I also got the grouper at the Blue Heron.
Well, we made a swing by the SO Club too, so we hit about everybody we could while we were in Clemson. If you want to win a $100 gift certificate to the Blue Heron, log on to ESPN.com, search Taste of the Town, and tell us why you deserve to win. And now both these teams hoping they can win tonight and keep alive in the Atlantic Division. Here's Jermaine Thomas. He has run really well tonight. We check in with Reese Davis.
Brad, coming up on the Wendy's halftime report, we'll catch you up to date on the fate of all the undefeated teams. Stanford has suddenly changed the look of the Pac-10 race, and we'll also get you up to date on all the scores and highlights throughout. And you know, I was thinking about Todd's Taste of the Town. I really believe, I don't know about all that fancy food. He's much more of a fried pickles at the SO Club kind of guy.
Yeah. Well, we tried a little bit of everything while we were there, trust me. Run for Thomas. Good for a first down. Marcus Gilchrist with a stop with 1 minute 4 seconds remaining.
First down, Florida State.
Jimbo Fisher, his team, a 2-game winning streak coming in, but still just 2-3 in conference play. They can draw even at 500 in both the conference and gaining on Clemson and Boston College if they can pull off a win here on the road tonight. Jermaine Thomas again. Looks like he's got another first down or very close to it. And this time Jermaine a little bit slow to get up.
And they don't want to lose him. He's running hard tonight. Again, coming off that career game last week, 186 yards against North Carolina State, favoring his right lower arm.
Either his elbow or his wrist. It looked like when he tried to stretch out to try to get the first down, he might have landed a little bit funny on that. Clemson had a player down too that they brought out. Jamie Cumbie was shaken up. And he's on the Clemson sideline. Meanwhile, they're going to bring out the chain gang to see if Jermaine got a first down right at the 42-yard line. And first down again, right on the yellow line. Well, big battle, AFC. title contenders fighting for conference supremacy on ESPN's Monday Night Football. Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to Mile High to take on the Denver Broncos, who are 6-1. Steelers and Broncos, ESPN's Monday Night Football. 8:30 Eastern. Coverage starts at 7. Monday Night Countdown served by Applebee's. Ponder. Quick throw out to Owens, and he's bumped out of bounds near midfield. Rod's one of the few seniors. Todd was talking about they did have some senior guys on the outside, but really, when you look at Burt Reed and Fortson and Easterling and all those guys are a lot younger. So virtually everybody coming back for Florida State on offense next year. Rod's an exception. Senior out of Jacksonville. Low snap. Ponder handles it. Fires complete again on another first down. Whoa. And there's a wicked takedown. So Rod Owens, back-to-back passes out here on the near side in front of the Clemson bench, and that time Rod got deposited by Myron Maxwell, who had an interception earlier in this quarter.
Well, the last time Owens was able to get out of bounds, and this time Maxwell wouldn't let him go. So the clock really working down now inside of 15 seconds for Florida State. They do have one timeout, but they've got about 2 plays left.
If they have that many, they're going to try a screen 2 in the middle of the field. And now it's down to 3-2 and trying to get the timeout called with 1 second remaining. They do. We'll be back to see what they do with that 1 tick of the clock when we return to Death Valley in a minute.
ESPN honors American servicemen and women with a very special week of programming. America's Heroes, a salute to our veterans, will tour the country and the world, culminating with SportsCenter broadcasting live from West Point on Veterans Day, November 11th. Join us then as we pay tribute to America's heroes on ESPN.
Dustin Hopkins' career long is 52 yards. Bobby Bowden's decided to give him a crack at a 58-yard field goal. And whistles.
Dabo Swinney called timeout at the last minute.
Kick was short. It was on line, but short. So the bad news is that's almost like a practice kick. Talking about Veterans Week, Veterans Day coming up on Wednesday. Rick Triggett, a former Marine in Vietnam, served his tour of duty and started coaching in 1973. Rick still coaches like drill sergeant, pretty much.
I think once a Marine, always a Marine.
Oh, yeah,
I don't think that ever changes. And he's an outstanding offensive line coach. He's hard on the guys, got a tough love approach, but he believes that there's just a higher gear that you can get guys to, and you got to be a little bit of a SOB to get it out of guys sometimes.
Well, again, that was basically a practice kick for Dustin Hopkins because he got to follow through even with the timeouts. So he knows how short it was, but he knows also it was on line. Hopkins, 58-yard kick on the way, and it's going to be returnable by Butler. Preston Butler, and it'll be brought down by the kicker. Well, you know, you talk about penalty markers down. You talk about missing the kick and then making the stop. That's pretty good. Penalty marker down at about the 13-yard line. And it's a holding on the return. So that should do it for the half. There's Hopkins, and he's going, oh, dang, it's short. Well, I'll get in the play, though. I don't want this guy running this thing back. That would not be good.
Yeah. And then boom. Even had his head on a swivel. Had the head on the swivel.
One of the better tackles of the game by the kicker on the final play of the second quarter.
Even kickers like to get a little dirt on their uniform every now and then.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that. Let's check in with Aaron.
Coach, a couple big missed opportunities for your offense. What's the biggest reason why?
Well, we just got to keep our poise. You know, defensively, early on, you know, we jumped off sides a couple times. We don't cover a guy. in man-to-man coverage. Offensively, we're moving the ball well. Just, you get down there and you jump offside on first down and goal, and then they create a fumble, but we're getting turnovers too. It's just two good football teams battling it out, but we just got to keep our poise. Come out here and play Clemson football. We'll be fine.
All right, Coach. Thanks, Brad.
A lot of football left, as the coach is talking about. Halftime here in Death Valley. Florida State on the road leading Clemson 17-14.